It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro.
What's up, everybody? Joe Costello back with you. NHRA Nitro on WFO Radio. The Parade of Champions continues. We're talking with our Super Gas World Champ in the Lucas Oil Series, Jeremy Mason. Jeremy is going to be on the show, going to talk about his championship season and how he went from average human being to world champion forever. He's going to tell us the breakdown of the season, and that is coming up. We have got all kinds of championship interviews in our WFO Radio archive. I know a lot of you are new to podcasts, frankly. There's a lot of NHRA fans that are just getting their mobile devices and realizing, oh man, there's a bunch of stuff on here that I can do other than post on Facebook and call people. And one of them is listen to podcasts. We thank you. We ask you to write a review as you like the show. I assure you, throughout the season, you will learn a lot about the ongoings and behind-the-scenes stuff in the NHRA Mellow Yellow and Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. I am happy to say I will be back out on the tour for all 24 races in the 2020 campaign, and it is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of great stuff out there. So thank you so much for checking out the show. And if you love Super Gas, this is a challenge to you. Here's the deal. Ready? We got the world champ on. This guy is getting as much love and respect as Robert Height and Steve Torrance because I love Lucas Oil Series racing and I appreciate and aspire to .90 racing. So if you're a .90 racer, if you're an index racer, share this, retweet this, put it out there, and let's make Jeremy a household name among drag racing fans as best as we can. And he does a great job to explain. We're going to get to him in just a couple of seconds. I do want to mention my sponsor names, okay? Real quick. Rapid fire. People have been telling me, here you go, behind the scenes, that sponsors, it would be great if you could have a non-sponsored podcast. Yeah, it would be great. But then I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to devote these many hours to this. And so I can devote these many hours to this thanks to these great people. FrankHawley.com. Frank and Lana, the drag racing school, they've got a program called the Dragster Adventure. You should do it. It is fun. Total Seal Piston Rings, TotalSeal.com, the leader in ring seal technology. If you're going to spend a bunch of money building a high-performance engine, you should have the best of the best as your piston rings, and that is Total Seal. They have a new podcast that I am producing called Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal. So listen to the podcast and tell me those guys aren't smart. And then, of course, if you're building an engine, use Total Seal. MagicDryUS.com, the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association. If you're going to dry up a spill, you might as well be using something that is all natural and supports drag racing. We're talking about Magic Dry. Go to MagicDryUS.com. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Become a CNC machinist, an engine builder. All of those skills are learned at Samtech. And they also have the Factory Stock podcast that comes out of our stables that you will like and enjoy. Samtech.edu. And, of course, Rodax Coffee and Grills.com. Marvin Rodak, hot sauces, spice rubs, everything good. Call Marvin. Check him out. His birthday was last week. Give Marvin a call. Get the Habanero Endorphin Booster Hot Sauce. You will love it. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. There you go. Those are the people that make this interview possible. Let's get to it. Joining us now, he is the Lucas Oil Series Super Gas World Champion. He got the job done with 644 points. His first NHRA World Championship. Jeremy Mason on WFO Radio. Jeremy, congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. It's an honor to be on today.
Well, I'm honored to be talking to another world champion. That's where the honor is. You went out there, got the job done in what I think has got to be one of the toughest classes in all of racing, period, to win a world championship, right? The guys that you beat, guys like Ray Miller, guys like Jim Kapp, guys like Ray Sawyer, like these are some of the best in the world, and you are number one. That's got to feel tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes it that much more special when you are competing with and beating guys that you look up to, like John LaBouse or Bo Butner and all the other names down the list. It's just really incredible feeling to get it done.
I can't even imagine. Now, you have had success in your past, starting out in the IHRA, running in Hot Rod, which is the same as NHRA Super Street, And my listeners know that that's the class that my bracket car would fit into if I made some changes. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but considered the entry level, right? Like we say it all the time. If you're out there, you'd like to go .90 racing, Super Street is where you can get your feet wet. And then once you get it all figured out and you want to make a slightly larger investment in, the car, speed, engine, all of these things, you move up to super gas. And that's where you are. So a hot rod champion, now a super gas champion. Let's talk a little bit about deciding to run for championship points. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody's going to try to chase the world, as they say. Was that your plan at the start of this season? Go out and chase the world championship points?
Yeah, so, I switched over to NHRA in 2015 after my championship in 2014. And, immediately I bought a brand new dragster and started running Super Comp and went out and won the divisional championship. So, it's always been my goal to do as good as possible and maybe finish top 10 in the nation. But it's, in the back of my mind, been a dream to go ahead and win a national championship. And, luckily this year it happened. This Super Gas car is a brand new car. Basically, we debuted it in 2017 at the U.S. Nationals, where it won Best Engineered. And then the second race out, I went to Silver Dollar for a divisional race and won. So I guess it's kind of been a great car from the get-go.
Wow, that's interesting. So started out in door slammers, moved up to Super Comp, then decided maybe you just have a knack for door slammers. Is that what it is? Because some people are just more comfortable with, doors.
Yeah, so, we ran a quick rod in IHRA. And then I basically parked that car in the garage and built a new dragster for NHRA. And I've had this car, actually, this is the first car I ran big cars in. I started in the Junior Dragster Series when I was 8 years old. And then I moved up when I could drive this car, actually a year before I was 16.
Wow.
Running local stuff, and then kind of parked it in 2010 to run IHRA and kind of compete in the quick rod category with my dragster. So
very cool. How old are you, Jeremy?
I'm 31.
31. All right. Still a long way to go. It's not over yet. So 66 Chevy,
Yeah.
too. Good-looking car. You already mentioned that it won, Best Engineered, which is a great deal. So let's talk about the start of the 2019 season in that. Where did you strike first, right? Where did you unload? And talk about the start of your season and how it went to up through the point where you got, a good, strong finish or a race win.
Yeah, so I started off my season. I typically go out of division to Division II, and I don't really know why I do that because I always get beat pretty bad because Division II, they start in January, and I'll try to go to like the Atlanta race, which is in April, to start my season. So again, like I went to Atlanta and got beat first round, went to Columbus, got beat second round, went to Bristol, got beat second round. But then I rolled into Norwalk, for the divisional and got runner up. Actually, that race was also rain delayed. I got all the way to the final and had to run Scott Deffenbaugh. And he has another red 1966 Chevy 2 months black. And it rained immediately prior to the final. We were actually sitting in front of the Kelly Services sign at Norwalk to pull out, and it started raining. So we finished that at Indianapolis. So he beat me in that race. Then I went, the Norwalk National was delayed. So I went to Chicago and got to the semis. I went to Bowling Green, got to the semis. I got beat pretty early at the U.S. Nationals. And then I went back for the national event at Norwalk where I won. And that was really kind of the turning point, I guess, of the season, where I started thinking, hey, I might actually have enough points to at that point in time, I was thinking, well, I'll get to the top 10. And then basically I could do no wrong. It didn't matter. Like if I let go 00 or 30, my win lights just kept coming on. So, at the Sports Nationals in Columbus, we got down to 5 cars. St. Louis got down to 5 cars where my car actually broke. And then just had enough points from then on out. I knew, talking to people were texting me, how it goes, like, hey, I think you got a shot. And I was like, yeah, I think I really need to get to 650. So my last race of the year, I think I had 612 going into it, and my divisional side was pretty strong, so I needed to win to get above 650, and I actually got runner-up in that race, so that got me to 644. And then from then on out, it was a waiting game. Basically, I had went to 5 national events. I couldn't make the 6 national events because my wife was pregnant, and we had our first child, girl named McKenna, on November 8th.
Hey, that's great. Congratulations. So the championship is like the second most important thing that happened to you this year.
Yeah, it's been a pretty great year.
I can imagine. I want to point out to everybody that you ran the fewest nationals of everybody in the top 10. You ran 5, and, pretty much everybody else went 6. And, Ray goes to a lot of nationals. He hit 8 along with Johnny LaBousse. But but that's saying something, right? Like you did well at the ones you went to.
Yeah, it actually made it a little more nervous for me, like sitting on the couch at home, watching NHRA TV, like, man, I've got one more. If I could only be there and like defend myself or try to improve, but I wasn't going to abandon my wife and leave her alone and by chance miss the birth of my child. So
tough decision you got to make there. Wow. And you know what? Listen, I'm not judging anybody either way, but I can tell you that there are a lot of people that, they might have gone to the racetrack, right? They got a chance at a world championship. You say national, I say world. I just think nobody else is running super gas. And so you are the world champion of super gas. So where were you when you found out you were the championship? We've heard some the champion. We've heard some interesting championship stories in that, and the audience knows, right? Sometimes, you turn on the win light to become the champion, and that's like thrilling. Or sometimes you're down there on the return road watching your last competitor fall by the wayside. And other times you're not even at the racetrack, right? And your phone explodes. That's what Allison Dahl told us, and that's in the archive, everybody, that she's raking leaves and her phone just started to explode, and she knew that she had won the championship. What about you, Jeremy? Where were you when you realized that you're no longer, a normal mortal? You are a champion for all times.
Yeah, so my championship wasn't decided until the very last race at Pomona. So I decided to fly out for Sunday and kind of see what happened. So I was at the airport getting ready to board a plane, watching NHRA TV on my phone, and I saw, Jim Cap, he was doing a burnout, and evidently there's like maybe a minute delay, because as he was doing a burnout, I got like 13 text messages that said, hey, you're the champ, and congrats. And I'm like, he hasn't even done a burnout yet. What are you guys talking about?
Right. It does. It takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to get from us through the whole system down to the end user. And wow. And so just like that, you are now the champ. What did you do? I'm sure people around you were you celebrating? Was there a big fist pump? How did you take in that information, considering you're in like the TSA monitored environment of an airport?
Yeah, my dad was there beside of me, and we kind of hugged and high-fived and screamed out loud. I'm sure people thought we were crazy, but it was a pretty special moment. Of
course, it is amazing, and to win any kind of championship in the National Hot Rod Association is a great challenge, and you did it. And just thinking about some of those racers, like I know Vern Rowland had a great year, kind of split his good wins up between Supercomp, Supergas. LaBousse is incredible. Just like the guys, like Bo Butner, second half of the year, who bought that car, caught fire, thought he might have a shot at the championship, ended up finishing 11th overall. But you did it. You got the job done, and now you are a champion. You gave your speech out there at the awards banquet, the awards ceremony. What was that experience like, going up on stage and, receiving the trophy and the honor and the respect of all your peers?
Yeah, it was incredible. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew like the Mellow Yellow Series does a huge banquet, but it was really like an intimate setting at the Hard Rock Cafe with basically just the Lucas Oil champions and their families. And, it was just a unbelievable experience. NHRA did a great job, and everybody involved. Sarah Walker was a big help in kind of herding us all together. And, it was, I really can't even describe it. It was awesome.
That's great. No, well, we love it. That's a big part of it. And, you mentioned a couple of things, and to give NHRA some credit just from my side, like think about your experience, right? You're watching on NHRA.TV, right? Like in the airport, like the idea that we have that now. I know some people, does it work all the time? Like 100% no, but it works enough for you to have that experience and then to come out and be able to enjoy your championship that way. So what about next year? What are you going to do? Are you going to try to set up another, solid championship points schedule and see what happens? Are you going to change your strategy? You got to try to go back to back here.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I typically lay out. I try to go to 8 divisional events, and then I'll plan on 3 or 4 national events, and then depending on how the points look and all that stuff. I'm not a higher budget team, so depending on how the points look, if they're looking good, I'll go ahead and chase and try to get the remaining 3 or 4 national events that I need. Basically, this year we're going to start out with 4 wides. I'm going to be running Super Gas and Super Comp again, and go from there.
Excellent. Would you like to try to do Super Gas 4 wide?
That would be interesting. I don't.
Yeah.
So I was actually at the 4 wides when they did Super Comp 4 wide, and it was I was trying to pay attention at the top end to see what it would be like, and I was in the middle 2 lanes, and it would be pretty impossible.
You got to just
in the middle 2 lanes.
Trust your car. You just got to trust your car. It would change the way you guys
at that point
drove racing. Like set up for like a 90 with like a 6 and hold it wide open and hope.
Or set up for an 88 and make sure you're actually killing 2 or something.
Right.
It would be different.
It would be very different. I wouldn't mind seeing it once, but I understand you guys are in the throes of points and championships, and that would throw everything off. Although this year, Alcohol are going 4 wide, and maybe even the Samtec cars going 4 wide, and so they're going to try to run more 4 wide. It's going to be very interesting. Jeremy, thank you for coming on WFO Radio Podcast, sharing your championship story. Congratulations on a great year, and just being able to go out there and run Super Gas. I love the class. And let me get your opinion on this before I let you go. All right, so you may have heard me on the microphone trying really hard to interest people who don't understand it, right? I always say the John Force fans who come out to see Force go 330 miles an hour, and they see these cars. What's not cool about a 66 Chevy 2, right? So I'm sure if you brought your car to a parking lot at the Home Depot or the mall, it would have a huge crowd of people around it saying like, wow, what is this? This car's awesome. It's on the ground. Wow, why so low? All of those things. But then you bring it out to the NHRA, put .90 on it, and a throttle stop, and all of a sudden people become confused, and they don't get it. And I'm trying my best up there to explain. And give me your best explanation to the people that you try to explain what the heck you're doing out there with index-style racing, why it's exciting and fun and has your attention so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's really technical. So for the most part, whenever I watch a Nitro car, I'm sitting at the starting line. I want to feel like the pounding of the exhaust and flames and all that stuff. But whenever I'm watching a Super Gas, Super Comp, even Stock Eliminator, Super Stock, any of the sportsman classes, you really need to sit down at the finish line, because that's where your more technical aspects of the run take place. You do have to hit the tree, don't get me wrong, but you're playing chess at 180 miles an hour in some of these cars, trying to decide where you need to be. And what you're trying to get the other guy to do and all that other stuff, you know. And then on the super gas is a cool class because there's a wide variety. I know like the Corvette Roadster's kind of taken over the class a little bit, but you know, my car is completely different. Like it's all steel. It still has factory glass. The windows roll up and down. It has the factory dash in it. Like it's basically a street car that is pretty fast.
Wow. No, that's
yeah.
very cool, and I agree. You know, we created a Facebook show kind of called Drive the Stripe, where Bo Butner and Austin Williams, myself, down at the top end, trying to show off what you guys do at the Stripe. We did that 2 races at the end of last year and got a lot of positive feedback. We just got to figure out how we can dial it in, make it better for the 2020 season. But I totally agree, as a bracket racer myself, like all the action happens at the top end of the racetrack. And if you're not there, then you don't really even understand what's going on. If you're there, you totally understand, and you see you guys doing your moves, you know, like you were just talking about. That's what's exciting about .90 racing. Jeremy, thank you so much. Congratulations, mostly on the birth of your daughter, secondarily on your world championship in the NHRA Lucas Oil Series Super Gas category. You conquered them all. Good luck in the 2020 season. Hey, do you do social media or anything that our people out there can follow you on if they want to follow along in the 2020 season?
Yeah, on Facebook, I have a page. It's Jeremy Mason Racing. And Instagram, it's Jeremy Mason Racing 3821, which is my car number. Jeremy Mason Racing was taken. I don't know how, but so Instagram is a little different.
Yeah. Well, hey, somebody, maybe you could buy it from them. And I appreciate you having the social. That's like my big initiative for 2020. Lucas Oil Series racers need to have the social so that we can grow the sport, and it will be helpful to everybody. You're already ahead of the game. Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on WFO Radio Podcast and being part of our Parade of Champions and telling your championship story following the 2019 season. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Jeremy Mason with us here on WFO Radio Podcast. Lucas Oil Super Gas World Champion for 2019. And hopefully all you sportsman racers are checking it out. And Lucas Oil Series racers, there's the big debate, right? Sportsman racer versus Lucas Oil Series racer. And I always try to say Lucas Oil Series racer because that's what you are. Sportsman, what is that anyway? But sometimes it pops out like that. And the words too. Great job with the championship. What a year he has had in that new family member, all of that. And I really relate. Like if I really wanted to go and try to compete for a world championship in some form of racing, Super Gas is it. That's where I would go. That's what I would do. I would try to build a super street car and run super street divisionally. I can't go chase the world. Can't do it, right? But if I was going to, and how would I do it? That would be the category that I would have to go do. And, maybe Super Comp, but I think I would be a door slammer guy, and so Super Gas. And that's one of the reasons why on WFO and, of course, on the mic at the NHRA, I am constantly championing the .90 categories because someone like me, a ham and egger, could decide I'm going to try to do this and go do it and maybe actually do it. This guy is a world champion, and it's something that will never be taken away from him. Great job, Jeremy. Excellent work. And having a beautiful car, non-roadster, no offense, roadsters, but that makes it great. It's a slammer. And you got to love it. Thanks to Jeremy Mason. The archive is loaded with 2019 Mellow Yellow and Lucas Oil Series World Champions. If you have not heard all the interviews, just go into the archive. How do I get to the archive? Well, WFOradio.com has got the archive there. Or you can just go back in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Just scroll down, and you will see all the interviews. They're all broken up by the driver's name. And SoundCloud, you can find them that way. In the WFO Radio app, they're all in there, and you just pick your champion interview, and you listen to what they had to say, and suddenly you know so much more about all of these people, which is great. And this is one of the best things that we do all year long, and we've got the past champions, too. You can go back and hear the 2018 champions as well. There will be more to come, WFO Radio, over the course of the next weeks, and want to make sure you guys have something every week. Remember, Performance TV Motor Trend Network, a television show that top dragster racer Kathy Fisher and myself host the show from the Performance TV Garage in Johnson City, Tennessee. I am shooting the show this week, and so you will hear more interviews in the coming weeks as we dive back into the sport of NHRA Mellow Yellow drag racing, and I really want to connect with as many of the stars of drag racing as possible. And we're going to start rolling out the show a little bit different, as in instead of a cluster around Tuesday, we're going to push some things back later in the week. I think that is going to be great for everybody. We want WFO to be part of your daily life as opposed to early week life. I know everybody listens on their own, but that's our plan. Big thanks to our big sponsors, talking about Total Seal Piston Rings. Total Seal has a podcast called Hidden Horsepower that I host. Jason Line, Pat Musey, Ben Strader, Stevie Fast Jackson. We're doing frequently asked questions about engines and cylinder walls and piston rings and oil and break-in process. It's very interesting. Some of it's over my head, but I'm learning very rapidly, and I'm so interested in it. Check it out. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and SoundCloud and wherever you get your podcast. Hidden Horsepower by Total Seal, and TotalSeal.com is a big supporter of WFO Radio. MagicDryUS.com, of course. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Last week was Marvin Rodax's birthday. I forgot it. I just didn't forget it. I just didn't acknowledge it. Like, hey, it's Marvin's birthday. So I'm going to do that for like the next 3 weeks in a row. But get on there and order some coffee for his birthday, right? Get him to work. Let's work him. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. The hot sauces are amazing. Ask for the Habanero Endorphin Booster. Get it, and then try to tell me it's not one of the best things you've ever had. I would be interested to hear that. I'm not making some sort of guarantee or anything, like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The best breakfast ever or your money back? Yeah. And it all went south from there. I'm not saying that. But the bottom line is I think it's one of the best things that I have on a regular basis. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. We love them. Frank and Lana doing a great job. Dragster Adventure. You can drive a dragster. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Hit the archive, and we will see you in the future. WFO Radio.
This is WFO Radio.
I love WFO Radio.
Oh, yeah.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to MagicDryUS.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. MagicDryUS.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say, if you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's MagicDryUS.com.
Start your education at full speed with the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Accelerate your career as a high-performance engine builder with classroom instruction and practical hands-on experience in the lab, on the dyno, and at the track. In addition to the blockhead and CNC programs, SAM now offers motorsport, EFI tuning, and an Associates of Applied Science degree. And SAM is a military-friendly school, approved to train veterans and other eligible persons under the GI Bill. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu today.
Hey, engine builders, Total Seal Piston Rings are the leader in ring seal technology, and they go out of their way to help their customers and will make custom sets for any specific piston you might have. Customer service, top notch. Made in America? Absolutely. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've got everything it takes to develop the world's best piston rings. Give them a call at 800-874-2753 or go to TotalSeal.com.
WFO Radio is brought to you in part by Extreme Velocity 3 Drag Racing. Download for your mobile device. Win your way on the show. WFO.
Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, and you know the holidays are coming, whether it be licensing for super comp, super gas, all the way up to top alcohol, they can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, the Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO. We're talking gourmet coffee, we're talking hot sauces, we're talking spice rubs, we're talking everything good at RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. Marvin Rodak, been doing it since the 70s, figured out that life is better with great coffee, and oh, he's so right. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. He'll roast up some coffee fresh for you. Throw in some hot sauce, some spice rub, and you will be loving it. Hit him up, RodakCoffeeandGrills.com.
Hey, what's up, WFO Universe? It's Kathy Fisher. Join me along with Joe Costello every Sunday morning on Motor Trend for Performance TV. That's 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.
This is WFO Radio.